Hey guys, welcome back. It's your favorite camp with a limp, and I am here with the next part of Conflict of Heroes, Awakening the Bear, 3rd edition. I'm very excited to get this going for you guys. We're going to jump right into the playthrough. Remember, I have made a few alterations to the mission that we are playing, which is solo mission number 3, Hunting Chernov. It is a all-tank mission, which is awesome. So you guys can see all that, but I have switched out the units that were originally in the mission for the Monster Tanks expansion because it's, Monster Tanks and they're awesome. I'm going to show you guys my units real quick. All the AI units I already have in a little draw cup here with the no enemy counters. So there's 16 of these total, and there are 16 of these rumored enemy markers spread all across the map. So as certain conditions become or happen during the game, these markers will get revealed and we'll see whether or not there's an enemy there or not. And then, play will continue. So these are my tanks. There's a lot of variety to this, but I noticed that I seem to have a lot of TDs, like tank destroyers, right? So like the Hetzer and the Ferdinand and stuff like that, units that do not have a tank's ability to have a turret fire. The only ones that I have are the King Tiger and the Panther. So I decided to split those two up to try to help out a little bit and have each one of them on the flanks. So this is going to be my 3 groups coming in. I'm going to have this group here on the left flank that's got a King Tiger, a Stug, and a Hetzer. In the center, I decided to go with my armored car and a couple more TDs. So the ST blah, 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 armored car with the Ferdinand and then the Jagdpanzer. They're going to come in through the center of the map right about here, somewhere around there, just depending on where the blocking terrain is that I decided to go with. And they're going to move up and try to, go for the enemy. And then on the right side, again, I've got the Panther there leading the charge with that Nashorn, which I don't know very much about the Nashorn. It looks very much like the Ferdinand, except that it's like open top. So you guys let me know down in the comments. Am I pretty much on point with that? Is it like a weaker version of a Ferdinand? And then the ST, it looks kind of like a Stug, but it's got STUH instead of STUG. So we're going to call this Stu. So Stu's coming out on the right. Weakest firepower actually here with only a 7. Fairly decent armor, but it's going to be really hard for him to penetrate damn near anything on the enemy team. We'll just have to see what happens. But that's going to be my 3 attack groups coming onto the map. And I am going to do what's called a group move with these, because you are allowed to do a group move with units coming in from off map. And basically there are times when you can do group moves, group attacks, group actions. And the short version for that is that they need to be in the same or contiguous hexes. Now, there is no stacking limit in this game, but there is a reason not to stack your units, because having your units like all stacked up together, they can all get hit by one attack at the same time. So you really don't want to do that. But if these 3 guys were on the map right here, I could activate them all at the same time, since they're all in contiguous hexes, and do a group move where they're all moving at the same time. Now, they wouldn't have to end together. They could move in different directions and even use their bonus moves that are on their or listed underneath their movement cost. But it is a neat ability to get a whole lot of guys on the map at the same time. So I'm going to set these guys over here just so they're listed down. And then we'll put these here, getting ready to enter. Now, they're not on the map. I'm just placing them there, holding, because I'm going to enter from the left side first. I do start with initiative here. It's listed down. The Germans start with initiative. And the thing is, when it comes to these solitaire missions, I don't know. I think you could maybe play it either way, but it does specify which player is the player and which one's the AI. So the mission's kind of built around you playing one of the specific sides. There are some missions in the book that have you playing as the Soviets, and then some where you're playing as the Germans. But the mission's built around you playing a specific side, because I don't think the AI would make, proper decisions trying to bring units onto the map like this, but can easily react to me coming on and invading its territory. So let's get ready. I'm going to bring these 3 guys on. Let me take a look real quick, see what hexes I'm going to put them in. Okay, so I've got my units on the board. I've decided to come in from this direction right here. That way I could keep the woods here as blocking terrain between me and this rumored enemy here. So he still can't see me because there's blocking terrain here. There's blocking terrain here because this tank rack is actually blocking. That's what that symbol down at the bottom represents. So you can see into the hex that it's in, you know, so a unit here could see out into fire and vice versa, but you can't see through it. And these guys are down here. Obviously the trees are going to block line of sight. So he is not able to see it. If your line passes through any part of a hex, so it doesn't have to like directly cover the building that's actually in the hex itself, just any part of this hex, it's going to be considered blocked. And it is traced from the center of one hex to the center of another hex. So he does not have line of sight to any of these guys. Actually, something I like to keep on hand, and I use this for X-Wing, but it does come in handy for games like this, is one of those little lasers. So you can trace stuff like this to see like whether or not it's like passing through certain hexes or whatever's going on. So excellent little thing to have, little lasers, definitely come in handy. So now my first activation is complete. I do not have to make spec checks for these guys, right? We'll just throw these down and to signify that these guys are stressed because they have activated the previous turn, right? But I don't have to make spec checks when I'm moving onto the map. Now, if I perform any other action with them, if they move again, whatever, obviously I'll be making spec checks. But the very first move onto a map when you're entering does not require a spent check, just so the unit doesn't become spent the moment it enters the game, right? So now we're going to draw our first AI card, see what they have going on. And of course, it's a command order, which is actually kind of good because they don't have any spent units already. So this one's kind of wasted. Because with this, there's no spent check that needs to be made for a unit that's making one of these orders. It's kind of like the AI is using caps to do something, right? So they don't have to worry about that. Now your top line here where it says priority, that's always going to be units that are either in the same hex or adjacent to enemies. That way stuff like that's going to be handled first. So if this rumored or if there was an enemy here and it had one of my tanks adjacent to it, it would go after that first before it's going to try to bring in other units to operate because, you know, obviously it would. All right, so we look at the top. There's no one in the hex. There's no one adjacent. It says execute counter actions. So we'll check to see if we can execute a counter action before we go down to this. Our counter actions are listed down. Like I said, this is going to vary between mission to mission. This says AI with more in line of sight units within 5 hexes than in line of sight AI. Basically, low risk move towards closest AI. Low risk is going to be you're not rushing towards the enemy. You're trying to keep cover. You're trying to move into terrain that has defense modifiers. It's all listed down here. We're not going to do this though because none of their guys are in line of sight. And there's one guy that actually has some people within 5 hexes, but nobody's in line of sight. So we will move down to the next order they have here. Hit AI closest to a unit. There is no hit AI. AI closest to the lowest defense value unit. Group attack +2 caps. So basically it would perform its attack and it would get a bonus. So it's like it's spending caps to increase its attack. I'm able to do the same thing with one of mine. I can spend up to a couple of caps to make my attack more likely to hit, but they do not have any AI that is closest, AI or that has line of sight. None yet. AI closest to a unit, low risk move towards. Now this we can do. What is he going to do here? And again, I'm not going to have to make a spent check. Now I do have some action cards I can play, which I will show you guys here in a little bit when I decide to play one of those. Now he's going to do a low risk move towards. Now the rumored enemies are not considered to have facings until they're actually revealed, and then when they're revealed, they'll be pointed towards the most amount of enemies on the map, right? I'm thinking if he's going to go towards, he's going to move into this building because that's going to give him actually a good place to be in. It's going to give him defense, a defense modifier in his favor, and that actually puts him to where he's aimed towards my units that are coming onto the map. So we're going to do that. He's going to go into there. Again, it's a blue card, cap card, so I don't have to make a spend check for him, which is actually good for him. I'll show you guys here. He is moving into a wooden building. You can tell because wooden are going to be brown. The gray roofed ones are going to be stone buildings. It does give him a +1 to his defense rating, and it would cost him 2 extra caps to move into that normally, but he does not have to do that, so that helps him out. All right, so here's the thing. We're back to my turn, and I'm actually not sure whether or not I want to... My thought has now changed. I was originally planning on putting my other guys on there, but I now have line of sight to this guy. When you're tracing line of sight, if it runs right down along the hex side, it's not considered blocked. This tank, his line of sight is running right down along that hex side, straight to the building this rumored enemy is in. The only problem is he moved into that defense modifier hex, so it does not reveal him. It will reveal him once he performs an attack or I shoot at him. And if you look at the bottom right of the counter, you see where it says the greater than or equal to 9. So if I make an attack to him and I equal 9 or better on my attack, then I get to reveal him. So I could reveal this guy right now, especially considering, I mean, I've got 11 as a firepower. So, I mean, his firepower is through the roof. I could easily reveal him because it's going to be that plus whatever I roll on the 2d6. And that's going to be versus his armor. The only thing is that will more than likely spend this stug because he's already stressed. So if I make the attack now, that's going to cost me 5 action points because he is stressed already. But it does clear it out so I don't have any enemies right here. And it would be very likely that he would fire at me on the next one. So when you fire at a rumored enemy like this, if you meet or beat that 9, then you're going to take and actually replace it with a unit, and whatever you rolled is compared against their defense, their natural defense rating, as if you had attacked them, because effectively you are attacking them. Okay, yeah, let's just go ahead and do it. We'll move the other guys on there later. I'm going to go ahead and do the attack here with the stug. Remember, his arc of fire is the 3 front hexes and then trailing off from that. So these 3, and then you would just go right along. But the flank is a lot larger than the front because enemies that are in your frontal arc, so that area, are considered attacking your front, but every other hex besides that is considered your flank. So you do have to keep that in mind, especially me with all these TDs. So I am doing that. I'm going to roll 2d6. Let me grab my 2d6. Here they are. And normally when you're making an attack, what you're going to do is subtract your attack number, whichever one it is. So this would be blue against a blue unit versus their defense rating. Add in your 2d6, and you're trying to like beat whatever number is left, right? So let's say their defense is 20 here, right? 11 from 20 would equal 9. So I would need to beat that with my 2d6 roll. I actually went and pulled it up in the rule book to show you guys real quick. There is the calculation here and a little math to show you where you get your hit number. And it's defense rating minus attack rating gives you your hit number. 2d6 roll equal to or higher than the hit number results in a hit. If it's 4 higher than that, though, it's considered a critical hit and destroys them. So awesome sauce. So let's roll this. We're going to have to see what the rumored enemy is. And I got an 8. Oop, flip that back over since I bumped it. Where's the 5? Of course. Okay, so here's my 8. And the 8 plus my 11 right now is 19. So I'm obviously beating his 9. So we'll go ahead and draw for one of these guys. Let me look away, looking away. Let's grab this one. No enemy. Of course it's going to be no enemy. I wanted this one to be an enemy so I could actually show you guys. So when you get a no enemy, you just pull this off and, well, you've wasted attack. You fired at the bushes and there was nothing going on. Now I do have to make a spent check for the Stug. See if he's going to be spent. And I'm going to need to be greater than a 5. That is not. So he is obviously spent at this point. But that's all right. We cleared out an enemy, so we don't have to worry about this. And now I've got a little bit of breathing room, and I can move into this town before I go after the other units located here. Real quick, I did want to show you guys there is a player aid, so it's not just located in the rulebook itself, like for combat, and it shows like common modifiers that can affect it, and plus the how to get your hit number there again at the top. So good player aid to have on hand. All right, let's draw a card for the enemy and see what they're doing. Now we can have a potential for the enemy to skip some of the rounds if the AI plus units is less than or greater than less than or equal to 6. It's going to move the round forward by 1. Obviously, we don't have less than 6 units. The AI still got a buttload of units left on the map, so we're not going to be skipping any rounds at this point. They don't have anyone who's in priority. Fresh AI. Okay, AI passes. It is potential for the AI to pass, but they're definitely not going to pass because they don't have any spent units at this point. There's no hit AI. AI closest to a hit unit. There's none of that. AI closest to a unit or mission objective move towards. So that's easy enough to check. Let's see. It should probably just be this rumored enemy, because their objective is to kill my units. So he's going to do a move towards down in this direction. And I'm probably thinking I would move him over here. So he's moving towards a building where he can get defense rating instead of just along the road where he can get blown to hell. So we're going to take this AI. We're going to just move him 1 hex forward. Again, we don't have to worry about facings just yet since it's still a rumored enemy. He does have the... they're just considered to have a red 1 as their movement. So you're not moving for like a tank or anything like that. All right, so when we go to make a spent check for this guy, his action point cost is just going to be considered a 1. All right, so we'll do it. Like I said, I'm going to do it back and forth just to get a feel for it, to see how it feels to do the AI using the cards, and then how it feels to use the dice for. So you draw a card, you look at the bottom. If it's greater than or equal to 2, it flips the unit to spent. It's not, so place this card down. And that's actually good for me. It burns another one of their cap cards. All right, so we're going to come over here now. And which group do I want to move in? It's either going to be this one or this one. There's a lot of rumored enemy here. Let's see, this doesn't block line of sight. This doesn't. This does. So depending on where I move these guys in, they do get their bonus move. So if I move him in here, tuck him there, move him there. This, I'm going to call this as road. That's not trees. Let's see. Yeah, the trees would just be blocking that. So I could get guy there. But this... he's out in the open. So that would expose this one to one of my units as well. Like he just flat out be open. So I either have to come in over here to avoid revealing this guy right off the bat. Well, it might be better to come over here and maybe flank around these trees to come after these units and then come after this guy. Or, nah, let's screw it. Let's go. Let me watch what I'm saying. Let's go straight in and just see what happens. We gotta try to take these guys out. We gotta be a little aggressive. So we'll split up in here. We'll come in from this hex, and let's see. I will put he's got the highest firepower, but he's got low defense, and Nashorn has low defense. So we will go there. We'll have the Nashorn go here, and this guy go here. So there we go. Now they are all on. Let's grab some stress markers so I remember that they are stressed. I'll just place one down here just to remember. That'll be easy enough. Now, I have a unit in direct line of sight of the enemy. There's nothing blocking him. Straight ahead. This guy's got no trees or anything shielding him, so that is going to reveal this rumored enemy. Let's grab our thing here. Unfortunately, that is going to reveal him on their turn. All right, looking away, looking away, looking away. All right, drawing again. I can't do all my rumored enemy right at the start. I need to show you guys some combat here. Okay, here we go. Bam. We have the SU-76. S76I. All right, nice. And he doesn't have that much of an attack either. That helps. Bam. All right, throw that rumored enemy off. Now, normally when you're playing, don't do that. Don't, redraw on that. But I really wanted to make sure I got an enemy on the board for this first turn for you guys. I was like, I'll be damned if I'm drawing no enemy twice in a row. All right, so that completes my activation. I did a group move, got my 3 guys on here. We did reveal the fact that their SU-76 is located here. Now it's going to be the enemy's turn again. So we will draw a card for them. If AI units plus units is less than or equal to 24, move it by 1. All right, that's actually going to be close. Let me think. That actually is going to move the track forward by 1 because I do have less than that. So this is going to move this up by 1. And this is what I was talking about. You can't be assured that every one of these events are going to happen, or that you're going to have all 12 of these rounds, because occasionally you're going to draw a card that's going to move the mission track up. So you have to estimate that you're going to have less rounds than you're actually, allotted for. All right, so let's look at what the AI has going on. My guess is he's going to perform an attack. Nothing at close range, priority range, the execute, counteractions. I know the counteractions has to do with movement. I don't think they're going to be doing any of the movement. Highest attack rating, hit AI closest to a unit, rally. Highest attack rating AI closest to a hit unit, attack. Highest attack rating AI closest to a unit, attack. Yep. And then if none of that had happened, we would have gone to execute mission orders. So he is going to perform his attack, shooting straight down here at my Panther. Damn, I should have probably put the Panther to the left, but oh well. Now he does have a range of 9, so he's easily within range. You can fire up to twice your range. The AI doesn't. The AI does not fire at long range, but long range incurs a -2 to your attack rating penalty. So if he were to fire at long range, his attack rating would only be 6 instead of an 8 against vehicles. And actually, he might not even make this attack, because they won't do it if they need to roll an 11 or better to make the attack. That's like the rules for the AI. When you're rolling the 2d6, if you need like an 11 or 12 to succeed for the attack, the AI is not going to make that attack. And unfortunately, that's the lowest attack rating unit they have for the AI for the monster tanks. I think I've got one that has low attack rating. Yeah, right down here is a 7, and they have one that has a low attack rating. But if we subtract 8 from 22, I don't even, he can't even hit. Not from the front. He would have to be attacking from a flank, because he would need a 14 or higher on a 2d6 roll. So no, he's actually not going to make that attack. Let's look at counteractions. Or excuse me, mission orders, which are listed down here. Let's see, highest attack, if there are more spent. AI farthest from a unit moves towards. So it looks like they're just going to leave him where he is. Highest firepower AI closest to the lowest. Yeah, because they don't have anyone who can perform an attack besides that one guy. And he can't hurt anything. If there are more spent, there aren't more spent. So it's going to be AI farthest from a unit is going to move towards. Now that's actually going to be some of these units way back here in the back. There's some back there. Let's see. It looks like this guy is going to be the farthest from. So he's going to come pushing in down this direction. All right, so since he's the farthest, you can actually see moving straight forward for him is going to be a uphill. That's what this little line represents. So he's at, think of this as elevation 0. This is elevation 1, and this is elevation 2 as you're going on up. So there is a 1 action point penalty to move forward like that, up a hill ascending. So he's effectively spent 2 action points as he's moving forward. So we will draw, see if he becomes spent, and yes, if is greater or equal to 2, he does become spent. So this one we'll flip over to its spent side, signifies that this AI is spent for this turn. So good deal for me. And all right, just to save us a little time for next time, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this video up with getting my last units onto the board. Since this group ended up coming on a little farther to the left than the right side of the board, I think I'll probably move these guys over here and bring them in probably behind these trees over here. See if I can keep stuff behind. See if he goes 1, 2. He goes 1, 2. And like I said, they're getting a bonus for the movement track. And actually, he has 2 bonus because he has wheel. See right there? He has a wheel bonus and a track bonus. So he can have up to 2, but it does have to be certain conditions. He has lower armor. Oh, if I go against anything that's hardcore, he will get blown up. And right now, he doesn't have, depending, he could have line of sight over here onto my flank, so I've got to be careful. We're going to turn this guy this way as he's moving up. Yeah, come on, let's go. Let's go hard out. We got to try to attack all these guys. So I'll move my Ferdinand here. So the armor car went in this direction, just tucked in behind the trees. Ferdinand came in like that. So he's pointing directly over here. And that's actually going to reveal this rumored enemy because he's actually sitting out on the road. And this Jagdpanzer is looking in this direction because there's another rumored AI over here, and I don't want him shooting the Jagdpanzer in the side. And we'll grab this to represent the fact that all these guys are stressed for the next round if I activate them. All right, and while I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and draw for this one. See what this rumored enemy is going to be. All right, look away, look away, look away. That is going to be the KV-1S. Ooh, big boy is on the board. He is going to be facing down here towards me. He has decent armor and a decent attack. 9, it's not great, it's not horrible, but 19 armor is pretty decent for him. So he's facing off against my Ferdinand, but my Ferdinand definitely has more firepower than him. So if he doesn't get me on the next round, I'm definitely going to blow him out of the water on the next one. But you guys will have to stay tuned for part 2 to see how this continues to play out. I know I've gone rather slow as far as this first video is concerned. That's just to help explain it. As usual, as the videos go on, I will explain less and less and play the game faster and faster, so you will be able to see more of what is actually going on in the game. All right, that's going to be it for me. You guys take care. I'll catch you in the next one.